Hello, and welcome to Mary from the Simplifiers for coming along and talking for this longer Women in Create interview. I just wanted to introduce Mary. So I met her, we've just realised, kind of December 2014 at an RSA event. When Mary starts talking, you will realise that she is an American, which is really exciting.
Yeehaw! This is an international podcast now.
It's an international podcast. And Mary's a fabulous, really vibrant, amazing woman with 2 kids and a husband, and dragged them all the way across the pond for kind of family reasons. You've had 15 years of event management experience.
Yep.
And you worked in America in the wedding industry.
Yep.
And you were listed by Forbes magazine as one of the top 25 young event professionals to watch.
I really wish it was Forbes that listed that. Actually, it was the Special Event magazine. But I have been published in Forbes, so
well, that counts.
Sort of
That's yeah. I haven't met anybody else who's been published in Forbes, so you are my first Forbes person.
Yes, high five.
High five! A yeehaw! A yeehaw! Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no worries.
And being part of our kind of podcast journey. And so you wanted to talk about busyness and the glorification of busyness and what that means for business.
So, Debbie, can I just first say thank you for having me? And
Pleasure.
Second, when you start a company called The Simplifiers, the horrible, cruel joke is that your life becomes ridiculously complex.
So it's the unsimplified.
So, people that have seen my Google Calendar and see all of the colors on it and go, whoa, how is that even possible? And I go, yeah, I know, like that's the reality.
And do you have things like pick your kids up from school?
Yeah, all
I
that.
have that on my calendar.
Well, yeah.
Put them to bed.
Right.
Like, otherwise I'd like have a meeting and I'd forget.
And all of that, right? And then, I think the reality is about busyness is really my own self-realization of falling down the rabbit hole. So I am by no means the guru sitting up in the mountain going, oh, I have meditated 4 hours this morning. What have you done, Debbie? Like, I'm not that person at this point yet. Maybe in 5 years, who knows?
And written in your diary, your daily pages.
I do some of that.
Good.
But yes, I do some of that. But who I am and why this message, I'm so passionate about it right now, is just a person that has said, pause. I see a moment where my life is starting to go into a tailspin, and I'm curious, are other female creative entrepreneurs out there also feeling this? Because it feels heavy. And so for me, I'm just simply being a mirror back to other people and talking about it, like starting the dialogue about the glorification of busy in the workplace and in our own lives. And like, let's have a conversation about it and figure out how we can do things better so that we don't melt down.
I think, because I had this like a while ago, people kept meeting me and going, how are you, Debbie? And I just go, busy. Like, I'm just so busy. I'm busy all the time. Look at my diary. Look how busy I am. I'm going to a thing. I'm really busy. Totally. And I realised that just by using the word busy, I was depressing the hell out of myself, because I was like, I'm so fucking busy all the time. I can't even breathe. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I had to take a step back and go, am I really as busy as I think I am? Are there things that I can remove that I don't have to be doing that are stressing me out? And also this idea that, well, you must be really successful if you're really busy all the time.
It is such a trap. And I just want to say to you, Debbie, like, I've totally been there before. And that's one of the first things that I ask people is like, right, when you are introducing yourself to somebody or somebody says, hey, how you doing? And you say, oh, I'm so busy. It's a trap.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when I started catching myself doing the same exact thing, that what you say over and over and over again is what is programming your brain. So you are programming your brain and telling your brain, oh, I'm so busy.
Yeah.
What if
it becomes the reality, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. What if instead of saying, hey, Debbie, how are you? You say, instead of saying busy, you say, you know what? I'm really good.
Yeah.
I'm thriving. I'm working on a project that's really interesting right now.
Yeah, and I love it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then at that point in that conversation, you go, oh, if I'm the other person volleying back with you, I'm like, oh, tell me about your new project. And then you go, oh, well, I'm doing blah, 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 blah. That's a way better conversation than the original where it's like, I say, hey, Debbie, how are you? And you go, oh, it's busy.
Because it
busy,
just
right?
slams the door.
And
You don't want to know anymore because you're like, oh, this is
and
too
then
much.
what I do, because I'm a woman and I want to mirror back and make you feel comfortable, is I go, oh my God, I'm so busy as well. And then I try to one-up you. Have you ever done that? Where you're in a conversation and you're like, oh, I'm so busy. And the other person goes, oh, you have no idea. My kid vomited on me and I have like no clean underpants and, you know, like.
They're inside out. Like.
Right, like all of that. It's just, how do we communicate to each other as healthy, creative female, you know, entrepreneurs and support each other rather than one up or continue the epidemic?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know if I want to admit that I've like one up people, but I'm sure I have. That feels like it. You know, when you like shine a light on yourself and you're like, am I that person?
But do you know what?
I think probably because you wanna have empathy with the person and you want to make them feel like they're not the only person who's busy in the world.
Exactly. That's
so I get that
because we're empathetic people.
Yeah.
But it's something that I see in my own self, and I want to stop.
So are there like any things apart from kind of catching yourself when you say it? Because it's the recognition, isn't it, that you're saying it, and then the more you recognize, don't say that, the more it just disappears out of your kind of everyday language.
Yes, and you know, at first when I started to notice it, it's so easy. Like you subconsciously say, "Busy, I'm busy," you know, and it's stopping that, and it's giving yourself a trigger point and going, oh, before I say that, I'm going to try something different. And it comes to kind of a game. Yeah. So the next time you go to a networking event and you know you're going to see loads of people and, you know, you're going to be in the situation, like count how many times you can say something other than I'm busy. Yeah, and make it a game.
I love the gamification of things because it's like little challenges in your head that you've set yourself and then you're like, woohoo, I didn't say busy all day. Like,
right. And then it becomes a routine. You do it over and over and over again. Then you start to reprogram your brain.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, I sent a text to a friend and I was like, how are you? And she just replied, I'm all right, but I'm just really busy. Mm-hmm. And then I just thought, there was nothing to reply to that. Mm-hmm. Like, I was just like, oh, okay.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't help you. Like, are you really? Could you do some yoga? Which just sounds like a bit wanky and like, I don't know, like I'm not appreciating where she is. So it just sort of shut the door on the conversation and I couldn't really take it anywhere. And I thought, that's really interesting as well. Like, we're just closing doors on people. Like, it's fine, I'm busy, don't talk to me. Like, I haven't even got time for this conversation. And then you miss out on things.
Without a doubt. My friend Dee Dee, who is a podcaster as well, she has the very best analogy about there are two types of people in the world. There are coconuts and there are peaches.
Fabulous. Okay, tell me more. I love this.
Okay, so coconuts are very hard on the outside and it takes a long time to crack through them, and then they're really squishy and soft on the inside.
Like an armadillo.
Yes, armadillos are squishy as well. From Texas,
okay.
You run those over a lot. It's bad.
Okay. Oh no, let's
but carry on.
Anyway,
so you got coconuts. They're hard on the outside, squishy on the inside. Once you crack through. Then there are peaches. She lives in Georgia. Okay. So they are soft on the outside, but then when you get through in the center, they're a bit hard, right? Yeah. So being a Texan in England, and I promise you I'm trying not to stereotype, but having been here for 3 years, what I find, I'm a peach. I'm a peach 100% through. We are not close friends until we've cried together. That is just the reality of how I roll, right? But there are a lot of coconuts in this country. And I think culturally, it's just, that's how it is. Yeah. You are an anomaly, like without a doubt. I'm willing to bet that you're
At the end of this, we can have a cry together.
your co-host, I'm willing to bet, is also, not a coconut as well. But you're an anomaly because I find culturally in the UK, it's best to sort of keep your emotions at bay. You keep it modest. You don't really ask people how they truly are doing. Yeah. You know, when you say, what's the thing? I can't even say it because I'm so Texan, I'll murder it. But when people say hello, they say, "You're right."
Yeah, no, for sure. But you do this, you're walking away from each other. So you walk down the road, you spot each other, you go, "Are you all right?" And they go, "Yeah, you all right?" And then you go, "Yeah, I'm all right. Are you all right?" And then they go, "Yeah, you're all right." And you're literally walking away as you finish that. And it doesn't matter whether they're all right or not. And then you go, "Bye." lie.
As a Southern Texas girl, I tell you the truth. For the first year of living in the UK, when people would ask me, you're right, I thought you actually wanted to know.
Yeah, like they care.
Well, and that I was like, well, I'm okay right now, but, I'm kind of feeling blah, blah, blah. And people always look at me like I'm about to mug them. They're like, no, I wasn't expecting an answer. So I think this is also not passing judgment. I just simply
I love it.
say
Please pass judgment.
that it's to and truly have community, to truly stop glorification of busy. We also have to take a personal responsibility to ask, are you all right?
Yeah.
Like, and stop and ask those questions. And like you were saying earlier, like when your friend said, oh, I'm so busy, and you didn't really know how to respond. I think we go that one step further. We nudge it a little bit further and say, oh, well, how can I help? Like, can I take your kid for an hour so you can go sit in the bathtub and, undisturbed and like fill your self-care tank up? Or, can I help, sit next to you and while you're cranking through a project? Because sometimes it's nice, like when you're working on a deadline, just to be next to somebody. You got your headphones on, whatever. But like ask. And I think that overall, not every time you're going to have the energy to do that. But I think when you start looking in those lenses of life, everything changes. Then you aren't your own little island sitting out by yourself, isolated, because a lot of us, we're solopreneurs or we have, a very small team and we're just like doing our thing, very isolated. The glorification of busy becomes part of our routine because we want to tell ourselves that we are actually busy and we are actually accomplishing stuff. So that's where I want to pull even the introverts out of their shell and out of their isolation because there's so much more that we can do as women, especially when we're in community.
I think, listening to what you said as well, I think, part of the being busy thing gives you, an extra badge. I'm working really hard. I really deserve to be here. It's like it gives you a kind of extra bit to your personality, where if you just said, how are you? I'm all right. I'm just plodding along and I'm doing the things, and I'm trying to only work 4 hours a day. People would be like, what? Like, you lazy, son of a bitch. What are you doing? So it almost gives us a reason to exist. What's our purpose? Well, if we're just busy, then we don't really have to question what our purpose is and what we're here for because we're just busy.
Well, I hear that.
And so it kind of it helps you put shutters on the real questions about what you're doing with your life.
I hear that, and I certainly felt that, but I will challenge you and your listeners that when you get to that point where you feel like, well, it's a badge, it shows that I'm actually doing stuff. What that actually is, in my mind, is a bandage. That is simply a temporary bandage that is not sustainable in the long run. Yeah. Because you continue to go, oh, I just need to do more. If I just worked harder, I will get more. Yeah. And so, in my opinion, these days, and this is a bit shocking to say this out loud, working longer hours in a day actually does not produce better work or produce more productive work, in my opinion. For me, my game all of this last couple of years, and really what's dramatically grown my business, and I truly believe this, is doing less.
Yes.
Doing less, and when I say that, I'm not sitting on the couch eating potato crisps
watching
and
Mad Men.
Watching Netflix and pretending oh, well, the universe will just manifest my clients. No, but I take daily action. And I also am super laser focused on what I'm accomplishing. So for me, I believe my brain can only handle about 5 major tasks in a day. That's it. Anything more than 5 tasks, my brain, mentally, emotionally, whatever, just can't handle it.
That seems quite a lot as well. Thinking about some of the tasks that I'm ah!
Yeah. So for me, and I heard this, I think it was the guy who wrote Essentialism, the book. And he said something like this: when you are prioritizing what you want to focus on in any given day, you write down your 5 tasks, and then you cross out the bottom 4, and you just do the thing. The very first thing that is at the very top of your list that you've figured out. Just do it. Close all the tabs on your computer.
That's part of the thing,
Shut down your notifications. Put your phone in a different room if that causes you. Because we are so...
connected.
Case in point, look at me, I've got electronics all over the place here, right? I mean, they're all here. And it's so hard, but do the thing. #do the thing.
Yes, and I found like in that way it's really useful for me to kind of put like a limit. Like if I say I've only got 20 minutes to get this thing done, I will get it done in 20 minutes.
Yes.
But if I give myself the afternoon, it will take the afternoon.
100%. It will expand or contract to the time that you've given it.
Exactly, and I find that really fascinating.
Yeah.
Because just put the timer on and get on with it. Because otherwise, I'm like, oh, what's happening on the emails? Maybe I just need to like check out the Facebook for a minute. If I'm like, fucking hell, I've only got 20 minutes, then I'm not looking at anything else because I've just got to get it done. And psychologically,
100%. Right. And the whole secret of not having 80 bazillion tabs open on your computer when you're working on the one thing, trust me, it's like having a breath of fresh air. And you're like, oh, I'm just focusing on this thing. Because, you know, we all fall into the trap of like, raise your hand if you're listening and this has been you, where you have like 40 tabs open on your browser. And you're like,
my hand.
You're like, oh, well, it's just so I'll remember I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's, again, psychologically telling your brain? Is that you have not got enough to do. And you need to, like, get your shit together and do ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. What if, just what if tomorrow, or even today, whoever's listening, that you shut all those tabs down. Just close it. Close it all, right?
But not this one.
Not this one. Focus on one thing and do it well. Yeah. And then, do you use the Pomodoro technique?
What is the Pomodoro technique?
Oh my God.
Okay, so maybe I do, but I don't know what it's called.
Ridiculously simple, and I use it all the time, and I love it. So Pomodoro technique is simply this. You set a 20-minute timer. You do the one thing, and then when the 20-minute timer goes off, if you have not finished it before the 20-minute timer and the timer goes off, you get up, stand up away from your work desk and go make a cup of tea or stretch, or, you know, the super eager people do a plank or some push-ups or whatever.
Come on, let's go.
5 minutes. And you don't, like, it's really important to follow the formula. You have to get up, move your perspective, go do something, and come back after the 5 minutes. And then you set another timer, 20 minutes.
Complete that task.
And do the task. And again, no notifications, no distractions, put your headphones on, listen to a great podcast, do the thing, right? It's impressive. You can get so much done with the Pomodoro technique.
So I feel like I've been doing it a little bit with the 20 minutes, but potentially then I just go next thing and then just put the timer on for 20 minutes, and then before I know it, I've been sat on my ass for like 4 hours. So I like the making myself get up.
Yes.
Because it's good for your body as well, isn't it? To just not be sat in our offices and chairs.
Yes.
Sort of
and I have the best ideas when I get up.
Yeah.
You know, so if I'm walking down the stairs to make a cup of tea or whatever it is, I'm like, oh, I wonder if right? It's changing your perspective, changing everything for you so that you can get snapped back into laser focus.
The other thing I think that would help, so yesterday I was like creating funnels and things and automations and ConvertKit, and you know, it's a whole new thing to me using that program. And so I was like, oh, how do I do this? And actually, if I had get to walk away for 20 minutes and come back, I would be refreshed rather than just struggling on through until it's done and just sort of banging my head against the wall.
Yeah.
And I think that would have helped me last night if I'd just taken a few breaks, actually, and probably would have.
And don't make those breaks long, like literally 5-minute breaks, and then come back. Because what happens if you are working from home, who else, raise your hand if this has been you, you get up, you take a break, and you're like, oh crap, I've got laundry to do. Oh man, this living room's a wreck. Or, oh God, it drives me crazy. And the dishes, oh, you know, whatever, right? And then all of a sudden you fall down that rabbit hole and you get nothing done. So 5 minutes forces you to be like, right, Mary told me 5 minutes, I'm making a cup of tea, get up, go, and come back. Pomodoro, and we'll put a link in the show links for it.
Yeah, fabulous.
But it is recommended that you don't do more than 4 at a time. Like, so you do it for 4 rounds, because after a while your brain just starts to go a little bit mushy.
What do I do after the 4?
Go take a walk. Eat lunch outside. I know, it's like gas. What a crazy idea, right?
Not in front of my desk when I'm trying to do another thing and I'm shoveling potatoes or something. Okay.
Just get outside, go do something else.
I love it. Okay, so the Pomodoro technique. The other thing that I really like is the Pareto's rule, the 20-80 rule. Like, you know, you're only productive 20% of the time, 80% of the time you're just faffing about.
Yes.
So I presume if you're aware of the Pareto's rule, and then you implement the Pomodoro rule, all the P's, then you're just going to be a lot more productive. So P plus P equals P. Like, we've made a
P
formula.
squared.
Yeah, P squared, exactly. Exactly,
Yeah.
We've made a formula. And so you said, are there other things that you've implemented in your quest to stop the busyness that you could kind of share?
Yeah. So I don't know about, for you, being a social media maven that you are.
Thank you.
My obsession with social media now as a small business owner versus where I was 5 years ago has dramatically changed. So I have the Time Hop app on my phone. Do you know about the Time Hop app?
I have seen people use it, yes.
So Time Hop, basically, I don't know how it does it. It's a bit scary, but it aggregates all of the content from all my social medias and says, on this day, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, this is where you were.
Yep.
And I always like to look back and I'm like, oh wow, 5 years ago I was doing this. Oh, 7 years ago I was, I had a newborn. Jesus. Like all of those things. What I thought was really interesting with having the Time Hop app is I would look back at something 5 years ago, 7 years ago that I posted. And you know what, Debbie? It only got like 2 or 3 likes, And I don't remember 5, 7 years ago being like, oh my God, 2 to 3 likes?
Damn
like,
it.
What? Why are people not thinking that I'm important? Like, I never had that.
You were happy with that level of 2 or 3
I was
likes.
like, 2 to 3 likes, that's fine, great. My mom liked it, my brother liked it, all right, awesome, great. I find now, as a small business owner, again, raise your hand if this is you, that if I don't get a minimum of 40 likes on something I post on Instagram, I'm like offended.
Oh yeah, of course. I want like over 100. I'm like, what? It's struggling in the 70s.
I have just shared my heart with you, world. Why are you not liking my stuff?
Yeah.
And I go, okay, ego, sit down.
So does that give you some comparison and you're like
something is up. Something is triggering us. And I certainly believe that something with the way our relationships of social media is now, as small business owners, as moms, as people, right, as women, our relationship has changed, whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm. And I am not saying that I go off of social media, go and be a nomad in the middle of the woods and don't be connected. I'm not, that's not who I am. You can find me on Insta stories at the Simplifiers. You can find me on all the social media platforms pretty much. I guess I'm just saying, let's pause and actually take note of that feeling and ask ourselves, why? Why do we feel like we are so wrapped up in needing that validation or whatever of likes, retweets, shares, blah, 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 blah. And instead, let's look at true engagement, like truly having conversations, like having these kinds of conversations, but like actually in real life with people and all of that.
And on social media as well, like it's not just about kind of just here's my message and I'm going to shout out to the world and then shut the door and go and do a thing.
Exactly.
It's about the connections and the building relationships.
Yes, and asking questions and starting dialogues, whether that is in the comment section of something you've posted in Facebook or Instagram, or something I've been doing lately is I've been peeling the curtain back and showing people like my life, both at work and at home, and just me as a human being on Insta stories. So people can see on our Insta stories, day in the life of the CEO of the Simplifiers, and it's messy. It's not always filtered. I mean, I do have the pretty photos where I'm like,
you can't always quite get your makeup on in time,
right?
If you're just going to take the picture.
But I love being able to share a little bit of like real no makeup Mary, and just be like, here is my life and here it's okay. Like, this is who I am. But then also another thing that I really have been enjoying doing lately, and I do this in a non-salesy, I'm never selling, but in a true, genuine, like connecting with real life human beings, is I like to throw love bombs out to people via direct message on Instagram. Okay. So rather than leaving comments on their Instagram posts, which are a dime in the dozen, and people, it's like, you see the ones that are totally like some sort of click farm, like crap thing, like, ooh, and you're like, is that really real? Like, I'll go through my feed of people who have posted something or that I'm really interested in what they're doing, and I'll send them a direct message and be like, Debbie, you're killing it on blah, blah, blah. I don't know how you have all the yellow clothes that you do, or your branding is awesome, like, or congrats on the new car, or whatever it is. Yeah. And I send direct messages, and I call it my little love bombs, my little positive karma that I'm kicking out to the world. I'm not selling. I'm just sending love bombs. And you know what happens with that? people respond back and they go, thanks, Mary. Like, they're so genuinely surprised that I've taken
the time,
5 seconds to say something nice to them that didn't feel like a copy and paste kind of thing, which it never is. And that's how you build community. So I'd much rather spend 20 minutes doing that on Instagram than like mindlessly scrolling through Twitter or Facebook for hours on end, just, you know, mindlessly liking things. Yes. So that's been working for me.
Okay, I like that. I think the other thing is as well is that we can all get hung up on, I don't know, who likes us, because the phone goes bleep and it gives you a bit of
it's dopamine.
It gives you dopamine. You're like, woo! You've got some like chemicals rushing around and stuff, and it feels good. Is that actually to take a step back and go, you know, am I healthy? Is my business going okay? Do people want to buy my products?
Yeah.
Like, am I enjoying myself? Like, they're the things that really matter. You know, getting 100 or 40 likes on Instagram is great and grand and wonderful, but would those 40 people actually buy your products anyway? Are they even your customers?
Exactly.
Or is it just like a little high that it gives you, which is nice, but you need to kind of see where that fits in the grand scheme of things. And if you've got clients and people working with you and you put a picture out and it gets 12 likes, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
So again, 5-7 years ago, I was very adamant about my work life is here, my personal life is here, and they do not blend. I would not friend my vendors, I would not friend my clients, I would not friend anything on Facebook. I was like, no, separate, right? Yeah. But now, because of the industry and because it's so blended now, that here's my new boundaries on things. And this is how it helps me, again, not feed into the frenzy of what can be busy, is I keep my personal friends that are not clients, not work related whatsoever, strictly on Facebook. I don't friend them on Instagram or Twitter, because what happens is I'm just going to see their stuff over and over and over again because they're just cross-posting here, right? So I keep all my friends, my personal life friends who will never buy a product from me and I never would ever sell to them or any of that on Facebook, right? And even more so, I'll keep it really meta. I like make private Facebook groups for just my close circle of friends so that you can just focus in on the most important people. You can also create lists. Did you know that in Facebook? Well, you know this. Yeah. But like you can create lists in Facebook where you can just look at the feeds. You can post to those very inner circle people. You can also filter your feed so you just see your inner circle people as well. It just helps you so you're not scrolling
for
constantly.
all the crap.
Right. But then I've started to, like, on Instagram, just focus on clients.
Yeah.
Focus on and for me, my clients, I do business coaching in the events industry. So wedding planners, photographers, venues all over the world, like literally 6 different countries that I work with. That I mainly keep them as my people in Instagram, because my people are visual people. That's their platform. They don't use Twitter. That's not where they are. So I go where they are, and those are the people I follow and who are following me mostly. And then what we found with Twitter, actually, and this may be different for other industries or whatever, but at the Simplifiers, we found that local people in Nottingham, in the East Midlands, we follow on Twitter. And so our conversations on Twitter, Minder, who works with me, is British, so she puts the O's and the, she cuts out the Z's and all of that stuff. So it feels a bit more British.
Localized.
And localized on Twitter. So I think my advice there is to simply have a strategy for your social media. Hire Debbie to do that with you. But then, really focus your time and your energies and your audiences on the different social media platforms. So again, you're not wasting a lot of extra time.
Yeah, and you're not trying to reach everybody everywhere and creating content that suits all these different kind of audiences. You just know exactly where they are on those things.
Yeah, and it makes you feel like less heavy, less heavy on your shoulders, calmer. Yeah. You're not using as much time and energy and brain power, and you're focused. Laser focus.
Laser focus. So
superheroes are laser focused.
And that's what you were saying as well, because part of your business brand is that you're superheroes. Yeah. So superheroes that are not busy.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah.
And not flying around with a cape, like the archetypal superhero is like all over the place, in everything, saving all the problems.
Yes, and this literally took me 14 years to realize about myself as a business owner. I started the Simplifiers in 2003. And so it takes evolution to figure this out. When you call yourself an undercover superhero for your clients, that's what I do. I mean, that's been branding from day one, and that's what we do for our clients, whether if we are event planners, business coaches, or even public speaking now. Yes, we are undercover superheroes, but no, we don't do it all. To the all where it's excess, where meltdown, burnout, crash. So being smart with your time, being laser focused on what you prioritize as well and where you focus your time. And so maybe you only work 6 or 7 hours today, but you know what? You are laser focused in there. So you're getting your top 5 done very quickly, and you're getting the heck out of there so you can have a real life out in a real life world, you know, with real life people. I know, crazy, gasp.
Oh, okay, so we're nearly out of time, and it's been really great talking to you, and I love the Pomodoro technique and like bringing together that, like, just stop saying you're busy, because it's just, you're just reinforcing that, and then you feel busy, and then you feel stressed because you're telling yourself you're busy. And it's this cycle of
one last thing that I want to add on this is this. Fill your cup. That I use that as a mantra, and it's just sort of a reminder to you as well, is that you have got to fill your cup first. You remember, like, you go on the airplane and they say, put the mask on you first before putting it on the kid. And you go, you know, that's a crazy idea.
I want to save my children.
I want to save the kid. But actually, in fact, you have to. It is critically important. I will say this and say this out loud with me when I say it. When the mothership goes down, we all go down. And so you are the mothership, and you have to take care of you. And so, again, I am not a size 2, so don't look at me and go, well, why is she not, like, you know, doing 5-minute planks and whatever? But no, I'm a work in progress. And
taking care of yourself doesn't have to mean ripped abs. Like, it could just mean
I work out 3 times now
baths
a week.
with candles.
Baths with candles.
Or a facial, like, once a month, or some acupuncture, or whatever that means to you. Like,
or if you've got littles at home and they're crying in the background while you're listening to this podcast, it is literally lock yourself in the bathroom for 5 minutes and have a little mommy alone time. Because we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
they'll be crying tomorrow as well, so hey.
It is the truth, and they will be fine.
Yeah, they will be fine.
They all live.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times mommy has had a alone time, or a timeout in the bathroom, locked there, just because you just need a moment to breathe. And I think sometimes we think of self-care and we go like, oh, it's going to be a pedicure, which is 2 hours out of my schedule. How am I going to fit this all in, Mary? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's just another thing in your schedule, isn't it?
Self-care, and I truly believe this, is as simple as 2 minutes. 2 minutes of deep breathing, 2 minutes of locking yourself in the bathroom, if that's what it takes. But it's just literally slowing your pace down. And then 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden you reset. I mean, I love Headspace, the app.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I could listen to his voice all day long. It doesn't take that much, and it can be free as well. Yeah. And so I think we forget, because we're so busy. We're so darn busy, right? That these things are gifts that we give ourselves that put us in the right mindset to do the thing. And that's where we have to start first.
I love it. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been
you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Yay. Bye. Thanks you guys so much.